In this video, we're going to take a look at the Drummond 1 horsepower stainless steel shallow well pump. And this is model 63407, which I purchased in 2019. And it was in service for 2 years, and the tank rusted out and had to be replaced in 2021. So I'm going to take it apart. I'll show you how it's made. I'll give you some pros and cons, and give you my recommendations about the Drummond stainless steel shallow well pump. Hi, and welcome to Fix, Tinker, Review, Repeat. I'm Ken. Well, it's been a very busy spring, summer, and now it's fall. We've been through a lot here at the upstate house. We're doing a major renovation on the first floor. We have a new kitchen, a new dining room. I'm working on the bathroom right now inside. Outside, we put in a French drain system. We regraded the driveway. So there's been a lot of projects, and I will show some of those projects in another video. But today's video is on this Drummond 1 horsepower stainless steel shallow well pump. But before we get into doing a, taking it apart and looking inside, I just want to highlight a project I just finished a few days ago, and unfortunately I didn't do a video on it. But there are many good videos on YouTube to change the drive gears on a garage door opener. And this is the main drive gear, and this bit was in service for 29 years. It's lasted that long. But what happened is this gear, which actually sits this way, this gear wore out, and you get a little bit of a side angle view, and you can see how it's worn and wallowed out after years and years of opening and closing the garage door. So this part, 20 bucks on Amazon, very easy to get. Took about an hour to replace it, and I even bought a couple of spares. I'm going to leave these to my son and my grandson. So 25 or 30 years down the road, they have a couple of spares that they can fix, tinker, and and work with. So anyway, but so a little bit of time and effort, and you can fix things. But there are products out there imported. The garage door opener was made in Mexico, and I'm sure with Chinese parts. But 29 years of service is pretty good. So unfortunately, this well pump only gave 2 years of service before the tank rusted through and failed. So let's go through how it's constructed, and what I like about it, what I didn't like about it, and we'll take a look inside here. Okay, I have another video on this particular pump and how it was used, and revitalizing or getting put back in service an old shallow well at my city location in Brooklyn. And that video will probably be released after this video. This was put into service in 2019, and it performed pretty well and gave about 4 or 5 gallons per minute from a 50-foot deep well, and the water was down about 25 feet in the well. So it did perform very well for those 2 years. What happened was it rusted out, and you can see there's a lot of rust here, and so it failed. This is the captive air tank. It's filled partially with water. There's a rubber bladder inside as hopefully we'll see in a few minutes. But this rusted out. Very poor paint job, and the paint job did not protect the tank from rusting. And this was sitting on a couple of wooden blocks on the ground, and as most well pumps are, they get wet. So anyway, this was purchased for about $160 minus a 20% coupon, which unfortunately Harbor Freight is no longer doing that 20% coupon routine. But I did get the 2-year service plan for another $36. And when this tank failed, when I put it into service, was going to put it into service at the beginning of this 2021 season, I noticed that there was a gaping hole, and I went through the process of making a warranty claim, which I have to give Harbor Freight credit. You fill out a form. I submitted the form along with the receipt and a photo of what the problem was, and within a week they granted a gift card, which I took to Harbor Freight with the original purchase price minus the service plan, of course, and purchased a new 2021 version of this pump. So the new pump is improved, and I will go through the improvements in detail in another video. So anyway, let's take a look at this one, and I'll give you my thoughts about what I like and don't like about this pump. First of all, this gauge is not so good, but this measures the amount of water pressure inside the tank and what's being pumped. And it did work, but it leaks water. It's not waterproof. The new one is improved and is quite waterproof. So that worked out very well. So let me start with the electronics and get these out of the way. This is the controller, and this will regulate the pump when the pump starts and when it stops. There's a high pressure and low pressure that in this particular case it will start at 30 pounds of pressure, and then it will cut off at 50 pounds of pressure. And this worked flawlessly for the 2 years. There was never a problem with this. Unlike the newer model, this does not have an on-off switch. You know, you have to pull the plug out in order to cut the power to it, which is not a really, it's not a big deal really when you come down to it. Let me take this off here, this side panel, and take a look to see what's in this. By the way, this is Ryobi. This Ryobi impact wrench has built 3 decks, renovating the front porch. It must have driven thousands of construction screws over the years, and this thing just works. So good job on this, Ryobi. This is one of the originals before they changed the color to puke green. Doesn't have all the bells and whistles. Doesn't have 2 speeds. It doesn't have a brushless motor. But the darn thing has worked relentlessly for probably 2 decades. So we have the start capacitor here, and some wiring. Wiring looks fairly well done. Let's get this out of the way. Probably don't have to take this off to do the rest of the autopsy, but why not? Ground screw. And let me get something to cut the wires here. Obviously not going to be putting this back together. This is going into the trash. You do have to, with electrolytic capacitors, and this is a 300 volt AC at 30 microfarads, they will store a little bit of voltage, and so you got to be careful, you know, dealing with these things. Probably going to save this, put it in my parts box. But no problem with the electronics. The electronics and the wiring are held up, you know, fairly well. A little bit of wear and tear. There's a weatherproof connection here to keep the water out. So, quite good. Just going to cut this off. You don't need the wires in the way. Okay, let me take the stainless steel hose off, and just to give an idea, this is the pump housing, this is the motor, and this is the captive air tank. So let's see if we can get the stainless steel hose off. Okay, we got the stainless steel hose partially off. Let me take we can get the top one off. Okay, well that was a little bit harder than I thought it was going to be. This was threaded in very nicely with some pipe compound on it. This was more like a union, and it was a silicone gasket preventing a leak over here on this connection. So, fairly well made, and no signs of corrosion inside. This is, in fact, stainless steel. Let's take the front off. See what's inside of here. 14 millimeter. It's a little loose, but should do the job. I don't know if these are going to come off. Let's see. Oh yeah, very easy. I know I'm going to knock it over, so let me put that down over there. We have a stainless steel plate. The water would come in this way through from the pump, discharge, and into here, and fill up the bladder. And here's the bladder inside the tank. Let's pull the bladder out. still have some water in it. Oh, it looks like it's attached to the back. Let's see if we can get it back on that one. It's a trailer valve on the back. You can fill the tank with rubber pressure. So you get this trailer valve off. It's just slightly bigger than the trailer valve you find down in the bottom. Actually, check it out. Air gauge is down there. Okay. Okay, here's our bladder. Plenty of schmutzy water. Okay, the water is inside the bladder, and the Schrader valve actually is filling up the tank and creating pressure against the tank, pushing the tank or collapsing the bladder to control the water flow. So anyway, the bladder didn't fail. The bladder was still holding water. That didn't leak. So let's take a look inside the tank. Let me see if we can get the camera shot inside the tank so you can see inside the inside this steel tank. This tank is not stainless steel. This tank is made out of just regular steel, and it has plenty of rust. So let's take a look inside just to see what we have inside the tank. Okay, here's inside the tank, and that's the Schrader valve and the gasket, or washer rather, that I pushed through, and it's very corroded inside the tank. I'll get a little bit better look at the side wall where the hole is, but you can get an idea that this is fairly corroded in there after two years of use. And as I said, this is not a stainless steel tank. The pump is stainless steel, but the tank is just regular steel. So here's inside of the tank, and this is the inside of where the tank rusted through. Let me stick the screwdriver through so you can see. Here's the hole here. This is all rusted material. There's plenty of rust inside the tank. The outside paint is peeling as well. So this paint job on the outside was not good, and it looked like there was paint inside the tank as well, and it just didn't hold up. Let me see if I can get this pressure switch off. And as I mentioned, this is the high and low cutoff. Cuts off at 50 pounds and back in at about 30 pounds. And good weather seal on this. The electrical connections were copper, and wiring seems pretty good. Let's see if I can get this off. Okay, we just has a little pressure diaphragm that is inside of the pressure switch. So I'm not gonna take this apart. This did not fail during the use of the pump. This stayed pretty well. So it's actually worked flawlessly for the 2 years. This is a 5mm Allen key. Let me put an extension on this. Make life a little simpler. Okay, here's the inside, and we have plastic impellers. We have a silicone gasket, which doesn't show any signs of failure or wear. See if we can get this out. So here's your pump housing. This is stainless steel. Here's the back of the gauge that we couldn't get off, but we have no, a little bit of corrosion or discoloring, but certainly not corroded. So the stainless steel did its job. The impeller is plastic, and plastic doesn't rust, but it might degrade over time. But it did its job. So no signs of failure or cracking. And let's look at the pump impeller. Not sure I can get this off here, but we'll take a look. On camera, Cobalt, your looks like your the center pin of the. Let me fix this while we're on camera. I thought that fell out of the pump. This, I'm not going to be saving any of this stuff, so let's just see if we can get this off. I'm not sure we'll be able to actually get this off. Let's see what we got here. There we go. The advantage of impact driver. Okay, so the impeller has a little key. I'll hold it from turning. A little keyway here. That's nice engineering. Okay. So this is the back of the pump. Sat behind the impeller. No corrosion. The gasket and seal is rubber, and it bearing where the shaft was turning on it didn't show any signs of wear. It didn't leak, but we have plenty of corrosion in here, and this might be aluminum. Looks like it's aluminum. The motor worked flawlessly. Worked well. There was no leaks here from the on the bearing or the seals from the motor to the pump. This is aluminum. Aluminum does corrode. It does oxidize. Any rainwater. This sits outside the, in the weather. So any water would get in back here through the back openings of the housing. Looks like just a plastic cover on the back. Let's see. Actually, it's metal cover. So this is steel cover, and no signs of corrosion here. Although the back cooling fan looks like there's corrosion on the back of the shaft, which again is exposed to the weather. So this would act to cool the motor. Air goes in this way and blows onto the cooling fins to keep the motor cool. It should slide right off of this shaft, but I don't think it's going to happen because of all the rust. I'm going to try a 10 millimeter. Let's see if this works. The 11 millimeter is just a pinch big. There we go. The paint was giving telling me it was 11 millimeters, but the 10 millimeter did the trick. Okay. I'm going to have to take these out. Pardon my shoulder there. I was trying to knock over the camera. I'm not obviously not putting this back together, so okay, when you're taking something apart to rebuild it, you need to be a lot more careful, obviously. So this is not going to go back together. I might put the motor back together, but let me take this apart. I have a bearing which is smooth. Oop. That bearing is smooth. And that little scuffing looks like it happened as I was taking the motor out of the casing. And here's the motor itself. The inside, the windings of the motor. It lasted good. There was no sign of corrosion inside the motor. There was some corrosion outside the motor, but it looks good inside. Well, thanks for sticking around to the end of the video. If you liked the video and you found it useful, give a thumbs up. It helps out a lot. Also, take a second or two to subscribe. I'm a fairly new YouTube channel, and the more subscribers, the better. And if you know somebody that might find this information useful, share the video with them, send them the link, so they can enjoy the video as well. If you have a comment about any of the components, how they were described, or if you have experience with this shallow well pump, post a comment below. I'd love to hear what your experience is. So again, thanks for tuning in to Fix, Tinker, Review, Repeat. I'll be posting some additional videos soon, and I'll see you then.